which is about 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Thursday morning. It is time for Veterans News. Hank Whittier called in at the last minute yesterday and informed us that he had a meeting to go to today. So Robin and I will be hosting the show. But, of course, it looks like Sergeant Curley is here and Don Harrison is here. And on the phone, we have a very special guest that we invited. Her name is Mary Markovich. She is an attorney. She's accredited by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs as an expert on VA pensions, VA aid and attendance, and VA compensation benefits. She's got a couple of books you might want to get a hold of. One is called What Every Surviving Spouse Should Know About Veterans Benefits, and the other one is called Burial Benefits for Veterans and Their Family Members, Remembering Our Military with Respect, Honor, and Dignity. Let me say a quick good morning, and then we will do some of the things we normally do, like the reading of some of the soldiers who have died recently in battle. And I guess for everyone I have today is an example of that. Good morning, Mary. Thank you for agreeing to be on the show with us today. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I know we called you at the last minute also, but I really know in my heart that the information you have will be very, very useful for the veterans who regularly listen to this program. And the normal host of the program is not here. Hank Whittier is his name. He had a meeting to go to. But Sergeant James Curley is here, and Sergeant Curley is a veteran, so let me make sure I put his microphone on. Good morning, Sergeant Curley.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, Ocala, Marion County.
It's unusual to have the room kind of empty, isn't it?
I noticed that, but I don't understand what happened because I don't usually talk with Hank about once a week or twice a week.
So okay.
He has other obligations, but he should have told me because I could have been here a little earlier.
Well, we'll kind of depend on you. We have Mary Markovich on the phone. You should be able to hear her on your headset, and so we'll allow her to answer questions and tell us. So one of the things that it sounded like when I was reading the article that was written about her was that a lot of veterans don't know about benefits that they're entitled to, and pensions, and there's a whole load of things that she can answer questions on. So we will do that. First, as we always do, I don't have the complete list that Hank usually has, but I have a few. I went online. There's a website called freedomremembered.com, and they list the names of some fallen soldiers. So, Robin, I'm going to ask you to, if you don't mind, while I get the other computer ready for this,
okay,
and just kind of read the general part of that, and then if you can work the mouse there and scroll down, and I'll get the taps ready. As you know, we normally play taps. And Mary, if you can just hang in there, okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Major Jonathan Walker, age 44, of Miriam, Kansas, died October the 1st in Doha, Qatar, of a non-combat related incident at a camp as Saliyah. The incident is under investigation. He was assigned to the headquarters company for Psychological Operations Group Airborne in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Sergeant First Class Andrew T. Weathers, 30, of DeRidder, Louisiana, died September 30th at Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany from wounds that he sustained when the enemy attacked his unit. Major Michael J. Donahue, age 41, of Columbus, Ohio, died September the 16th. Whoops, here we go. There we go. Let me find it again. There it is. Sergeant First Class Andrew T. Weathers, age 30, of DeWitter, Louisiana, died September 30th at Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany from wounds that he sustained when the enemy attacked his unit. And Major Michael J. Donahue, age 41, of Columbus, Ohio, died September 16th in Kabul, Afghanistan, of wounds that he suffered from an enemy attack. Navy Reservist Stephen Franklin Bayous, age 39, of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, died September 16th in Kabul, Afghanistan, of wounds that he suffered from an enemy attack. And Sergeant Charles Calvin Strong, age 28, of Suffolk, Virginia, he died on September 15th in Herat, Afghanistan.
All right, and those are the ones we have for today. Sergeant Curley, do you know anybody we should mention?
No locals that I know of.
Okay. We'll do what we normally do on Hank's show, and we've got Amazing Grace from Judy Collins, and then Taps, and then we'll be right back with Sergeant Curley as well as Mary Markovich up in North Carolina, I believe. We'll be right back after the music.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch
10 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, if you're listening to Veterans News and are listening for Hank Whittier's voice, he's not here today. He had to go to a meeting. Sergeant and Commander James Curley is here and on the phone. And Don Harrison is here somewhere. I saw Don here somewhere. And on the phone, Mary Markovich. She's going to talk to us and answer questions, by the way, regarding veterans benefits, veterans pensions, burial issues associated with veterans. And we'll just kind of chat in a little bit. And Sergeant Curley, please, we need questions from somebody who is a veteran. You yourself being a veteran, of course.
Yes, Bob Wine.
And the Bob Wines is the sponsors as well. Okay, so I guess we should do that first. Huh?
Right. Good morning, everybody. We are brought to you by Bob Wine's Camellia Garden and Nursery, and it's located at 2610 Southeast 38th Street in beautiful Ocala. When it comes to landscaping, Bob Wines has everything that you could possibly need. Everything from small plants to large trees, mulch, fertilizer, and so much more. And Bob Wine will even deliver you and plant and guarantee their trees. So for any nursery needs or any flowering needs, anything you want to do to make your landscape real pretty, call Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, who has been keeping America and Marion County blooming since 1952. The contact phone number is 352-629-5766. And listen, if you tell Bob Wines you're a veteran and you got your veteran's ID card, he will make sure you get a 10% discount. And you can't beat that, folks. So buy from people who sponsor. Thank you very much.
There you go. Okay. Mary, thank you for waiting through the opening part of the show. And again, thank you for agreeing to be on the show with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, can I ask you something as an attorney? If during the course of this discussion we mentioned something that a veteran says, well, I didn't know that I could get that, or I didn't know my pension was, I could apply this to my pension. Will they need an attorney to actually get what they need, or is this just a matter of walking into the VA or someplace and asking, hey, I heard this on the radio and I need this changed?
They do not need an attorney. You can go online at va.gov. All the forms you need and the instructions are free of charge. You need an attorney if you get a denial. But we also have veteran service organizations such as the Veterans of Foreign War, the American Legion, all those wonderful folks. We have state employees at state veterans offices that will help the applicants fill out the application for benefits. The problem is that a lot of people don't know that this is available. And so over 9 million, this is by the VA's own statistics, only over 9 million veterans are over age 65 and could potentially qualify for VA pension benefits, but only approximately 300,000 veterans receive those monthly pension benefits. And they're really important because they're tax-free, state tax and federal tax-free benefits.
Okay, is military retirement, I'm confused here, and maybe Sergeant Curley could chime in on this. Is military retirement and veterans pension two different things?
Yes. Your retirement pay comes from the fact that you spent the 20 years or the 22 years or 25 up to 30 years or maybe more in service for your country. But the veterans benefits come from something that happened to you while you were in service, or perhaps since you got out of service, but it can be related back to your military experience. So, and all like I said, it's a veteran benefit, which means that it's tax free if you can prove,
okay,
or if you can, or they can't disprove that it happened to you while you were in service.
Let me chime in just a little bit. Department of Defense issues the retirement, and that's taxable.
Oh, yes.
But EA issues pension, and that's tax-free, and a veteran can receive both simultaneously.
I see. And you're saying a lot of people who are eligible for that don't get it.
They don't know about it.
They don't know about it.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
They applied to get it, so that's...
So one of the titles of your book implies benefits that a spouse of a deceased veteran might be entitled to. Do the same rules apply for the spouse?
More or less. And the reason I wrote this, What Every Surviving Spouse Should Know About Veterans Benefits, is that I am a surviving spouse of a veteran. And I did not know when my husband died what benefits were available. It was a big confusion, and so I didn't even apply for anything. I just didn't even know. So the book tells what benefits are available, how to apply, what forms are needed, how to mail them in, and all these forms are free online. The VA does a wonderful job of, if you don't know what to fill in, you just hover over that particular line, and it tells you what to fill in. A lot of claimants have come to me. They're divorced from a veteran, and after the veteran dies, they want to know, can they get benefits? And the answer is yes.
Oh, really?
They can go to, if the state law permits it, they can go and have to court, and they need an attorney for this to get the divorce vacated. And then once the divorce is vacated, the judge's orders say that they are no longer divorced, and they can apply to the VA for veterans benefits.
What if they were remarried? Does that change things?
Yes, it does.
Oh, okay. So if you get divorced, make sure your husband doesn't get remarried.
Make sure you don't get remarried.
Millions of women who really need this benefit, and they don't know about it because they figure, well, I'm not the surviving spouse because he divorced me. Well, yes, it is available. And I just go through step by step in the book how to do this and how to go through the process.
Do you know, I'm going to ask for a little leniency on me because I wouldn't know these things. Hank Whittier and Sergeant Curley, even Hank being the executive director of a group called Veterans Helping Veterans, by the way, who, I mean, they do an outstanding job helping vets with questions. So it's possible that I'm asking questions that he would already know the answers to, including yourself, Sergeant Curley. Yeah. So, but for the listeners, Mary had said yes. I hope you're okay with this, Mary. If you want to call in and ask a question, you are certainly welcome to and invited to. The number here is 622-9622. And also, I think the books would be important if you wanted to have, obviously, a radio interview only scratches the surface. So the books will really give you the details. What are the burial benefits? What is in the burial benefits book?
I list the burial benefits that are available for veterans and veterans' family members, and particularly what the requirements are for burial in a national cemetery, and what benefits are available, like headstones, flags, presidential memorial certificates, so on and so forth, and how to actually apply to get these things. Also, burial in Arlington. That's one of our nation's most visible national cemeteries, but not every veteran can be buried in Arlington. So I list who can be buried in Arlington and how to go about that process.
Oh, really?
Really. Some veterans want to be buried at sea, and I talk about that in the book. The process for applying for that. That's available to any deceased member of the armed forces. They don't have to be Navy, but the Department of Navy does that committal service burial.
Oh, wow. There was a really touching story in the news maybe a year or more ago about a World War II vet who was on the... What's the ship in Hawaii? What's that called? The one that's sunk?
Arizona.
The Arizona. And he survived the Pearl Harbor bombing. And his wishes were to have his ashes interred in the ship. And so they had this very touching ceremony. You remember seeing this on the TV? Yeah. And a diver actually carried his ashes down there, and I guess put it in somehow
inside the ship itself. Where it went down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go through that in the book of burial on the USS Arizona, and the forms that are needed. It's all a process, and it's very meticulous, and procedures have to be followed. And so I have the request forms and everything in the book. And That's for the USS Arizona burial.
Are the burial benefits extended to a private cemetery that has a veterans area?
Veterans who are buried in a private cemetery have certain memorial benefits, and that includes things like the headstone and flag and everything else we talked about. But family members who are buried in a private cemetery do not have those benefits.
Can you do it years after the death? Let's say you find out, my goodness, I didn't know I could have got my dad a headstone or something like that. Can you apply for it if it's been a decade or whatever? Or I mean, is there any time limit where you are no longer eligible to get the benefit that would mark the grave in the way that you would like it to be marked?
There's no time limit, and it can be any cemetery, any national cemetery, any place in the world, or for a veteran, any private cemetery, any place in the world.
Wow. I'm guessing most of the veterans listening are probably interested in some of the information you have in the first book that we were talking about. Just to reintroduce our guest, Mary Markovich is our guest. She's an attorney. You're in North Carolina, right?
Yes, I am.
What city? What city are you in?
Raleigh.
In Raleigh, okay. She is accredited by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs as an expert on VA pensions. So this is a great time. If you have any questions about your pension, about your retirement, call in 622-9622. Sergeant Curley, please don't be shy. Ask questions if you have any.
My question, of course, is if your book is available online or is available by mail, or how do you go about receiving a copy of your book? Because I find this very interesting, and I would like to read your book. You read all the material that you're presenting.
Thank you. It's both books are available on Amazon.
Okay, and we look for you by name, Mary.
You can do Mary Markovich, or you can type in the name of the book. What every surviving spouse should know about veterans' benefits, and the other book is Burial Benefits for Veterans and Their Family Members. Remembering our military with respect, honor, and dignity, but people have told me that you can find it just by Burial Benefits for Veterans and Their Family Members.
Oh, really? And may I mention to the listeners who are listening and say, oh, my goodness, I wish my cousin was listening or whoever, we do record these interviews, and this will be up on YouTube for WOCA, on WOCA's YouTube channel. We'll also have it up on the WOCA Facebook page. And let me just repeat that Hank Whittier is not here today. He called yesterday at the last minute asking us if we could cover for him. He's at a meeting of some sort, and Sergeant Curley was left out of that news. So Sergeant Curley's here by himself today. The only veteran in the room, Sergeant Curley. Sergeant Curley, Mary, by the way, served in Vietnam?
Yes, 2 tours, as a matter of fact.
Was injured, right?
Yes, combat wounded, yes.
Combat wounded.
Yeah.
Does a combat wounded veteran get different benefits than somebody who was not combat wounded?
Are you speaking to me?
Anybody, Mary?
Well, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you put in a different category. For category 1, it means you're severely injured, and then category 2 means that you still you lost a limb or something like that. And then category 3, which is a combat wounded veteran who's able to do a few things for himself. He gets a special.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then it goes up to category 8, which means that you're a civilian and you got some money and you don't have to, you really don't need the VA system, but you put your name in just in case, that kind of thing. And all of it is geared upon the veterans' not only ability to may or may not be able to pay, but it's also geared about his service. And see, if you didn't do a good job or you got dishonorable discharge, you don't get the same thing as I would get who being a combat veteran. You understand that?
Right. Yeah. Mary?
Well, monetary benefits, monthly checks, are divided into 2 categories. There's compensation, that's VA compensation,
Right.
service-connected.
Service-connected.
And then there's VA pension for non-service connected disabilities.
Right.
And the VA says if you made it to 65, then you have a non-service connected disability.
Do the benefits cover like assisted living or any long-term care?
Yes. That's exactly what it's intended for. The pension is intended to help veterans who are struggling with paying for long-term care. I'd like to say just a few words before we run out of time of how a veteran qualifies, what the requirements are for VA pension. The veteran has to be 65 years of age or older, or permanently and totally disabled. He or she has to have served at least 90 days active service, and at least one of those days was when the United States was at war. And the VA has a list of what their periods of war are. The veteran does not have to have served in combat to receive VA pension. The discharge has to be anything other than dishonorable. VA says if you have a dishonorable discharge, you are not a veteran and not entitled to benefits. And also, the veteran must pass asset and income tests in order to receive this benefit. But a veteran with a spouse may be entitled to receive up to $2,085 a month tax-free.
Wow. I know that the listeners who are interested in this will want to know more. So before we absolutely run out of time, and we're almost there, let me squeeze in one phone call, and then we'll give out the information about the book again. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're
Hi,
on.
this is Kathy. I just have one real quick question.
Go ahead. Sure.
About assisted living assistance. Does that apply to a spouse of a veteran?
It can. That goes into the household income. It's kind of difficult to explain on the phone, but it goes into the unreimbursed medical expenses, if that's part of the unreimbursed medical expenses. They look at the total household income, the total household expenses.
Can I call you back?
I'm just listening to what she's saying.
Yeah. No, that was Sergeant Curley on his phone. Okay, so would that question be answered in the book, Mary?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Kathy. Thank you,
All right,
Kathy.
thank you.
Appreciate the call. All right, Mary, again, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show. We're at the very, very end. The two books that Mary wrote are called What Every Surviving Spouse Should Know About Veterans Benefits. That's one book. The other one is called Burial Benefits for Veterans and Their Family Members, Remembering Our Military with Respect, Honor, and Dignity. Both books, Mary told us, are available on Amazon.com. And your website is, what is your website, Mary?
MMARKOV as in Victor, ICH.com.
Okay, as in Mary. M as in Mary, and then Markovich. mmarkovich.com. Mary, again, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for helping us out with the program. I think you've given some information. It has been recorded for the listeners. You can go online and share it, and you'll find it on the WOCA Facebook page as well as the WOCA YouTube channel. Mary Markovich, we certainly appreciate you being on with us today, and thank you for extending your time. I originally asked her for 10 minutes, and then I said, you know what, we could probably go longer with this, so...
Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Sergeant Curley, thank you for coming in.
No problem.
And
I have one announcement, if I can quickly make it.
Sure.
The VFW Post 7193 is having this annual dinner dance November the 1st, 2014. And there are 4 ways you can help us out with this dinner. You can purchase a ticket to the dinner dance for $35. You can list your name in the journal as a patron at a minimum of $5. Or you can make a contribution of $250 or more to have your name placed on the perpetual plaque. Or you could just come on out and have a good time with us at the dinner dance. Or you can place an ad in our journal, black and white, from $25 to $100. The color ads are from $45 to $200. We're just asking everybody to continue to support us because we still got a long way to go in that building, which is considered the Brady Owens Community Center / Post Home of 7193.
All right, excellent. Good fast talking right there, too. And again, Robin, thank you for helping out with this segment today. We'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Are you tired of not using your home's outdoor space for entertaining or relaxation because of all the bugs and leaves?